And welcome back to Sports Beat Sunday. It's an honor to have Arnie Ferrin with us, former chair of the selection committee back in '88. Arnie, thanks for coming by.
Fun time of the year.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to ask you the truth now. When you guys go behind closed doors, do they lock you in? Do they throw some raw meat in there? I mean, how do you guys go about doing this thing?
They really do lock you in, and you're not allowed any phone calls while you're there. The system has become more sophisticated than it was. Friday's USA Today, Steve Weiberg picked 63 of the 64 teams. It really is amazing, but what it says is picking the teams is not as difficult as making the pairings, so you have the strength of the brackets in each one of the regions, and seeding the teams so that the teams earn the right to play according to how they've played during the season. And that's really the toughest part. As you can see, we talked a little bit, I looked quickly, and BYU was the 10th seed.
Right. Explain that, because a lot of people, UTEP's number 9 in Dayton. Now, why is that?
Well, really one of the items that they use is if you are the number 1 seed in your conference, you have a preemptive right to play as close to home as possible if it's not on your own floor. And so the number 9 seed went to Tucson in the Western bracket. So if they were going to allow BYU to play at Boise, then what they would have to do is seed them number 10. So there probably was a shift. I think BYU should have been seeded ahead of UTEP. They won the WAC, tied with them, and then they won the playoff. But if they had seeded them number 9, they would have had to go to Tucson to play. So it really is a good seed, number 10. But the great games this weekend are 8-9 and 7-10. And you watch what comes on CBS Sports, and you'll see those will be the great ones, with the exception that Syracuse is playing Princeton, and Princeton always has a way of holding the ball, slowing it down, controlling it, and I don't think any coach in the tournament would like to start the tournament out against Princeton, but Syracuse will.
All right. You ready to take some phone calls?
Surely.
All right. Salt Lake City. Scott, how you doing? You're on. It's not there. Okay, we're having some problems with the phone. Just hang with us for a minute. Can we put up the Boise bracket if we can? And Arnie, talk about this, because look at this. Georgetown, Montana, the Grizzlies, Dale Brown, LSU, Bobby Knight, Indiana, Roger Reed, Brigham Young. I think it's the toughest bracket in the 64-team field.
Not only is it maybe the toughest bracket, but if LSU and Indiana win, and those of us hope that LSU doesn't win, this would be the first time that Bobby Knight would play LSU or Dale Brown since the Bobby Knight incident of hitting the telephone back in the NCAA tournament. Bobby Knight came before our committee and was fined a significant amount of money, and he was given a public reprimand for that. And Dale Brown took delight in sending clippings to everybody in the United States about Bobby's record in history, and those two have not met or played together, but in Boise, Idaho, you could on Saturday night. Now, one of the things that I've listened to the TV this week, they say that the last 4 years, no team has been to the round of 16 that wasn't seeded in the top 4, I guess to the finals. Villanova was the 12th seed when they beat Georgetown in Lexington, Kentucky. So you take a 10th seed, does have a chance to win the tournament. BYU at number 10 does have that chance because it has happened before.
And you are amazing, the numbers you remember. Okay, we got the phones going. Scott, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing? Thanks for hanging on. You're on Sports Beat. You just won yourself a trip, so it's a good thing you hung around.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Question is, as you're considering the pairings and you look at some of the teams that are marginal of the schedule, do you ever consider what kind of a crowd they might be able to draw in making the decision whether or not to put them in?
The crowds really don't have any factor. The television contract, CBS paid $1 billion for the rights to televise the NCAA tournament over a 7-year period, so crowds are not a factor. Last season records are not a factor. What you do, you base it on the criteria is win-loss record, strength of schedule, power rating, strength of opponent schedule, and if there's a close separating factor, it would be those teams would start strong and finish poorly. If they're in that pool and a team is like that, you'll take the team that is playing better towards the end of the season. One exception to that would be the players that got you your record have to be available to play in the tournament. And I noticed the team from the back east that had a great record, lost their star player, lost 7 games. He came back and won the last 5. So he will be in the tournament and that team will play. But the ones that got you to the dance are the ones that have to be there for them to consider you in the tournament.
All right, I think we got time. Okay, we lost the call again. I apologize. We've had some problems. We're redoing our phone lines in here. Next week we'll have it all fixed up. Let me put you on the spot, Arnie, before I let you go. Who are you picking the Final Four? I won't ask you who's going to win it. How about the Final Four up in Minneapolis?
Well, I just, going with what the professionals pick, I think that Ohio State is superb. But Ohio State would not have been a #1 team if Purdue had not beaten Indiana. Certainly watch Duke. How could you go against Duke?
Yeah.
I think that you've got to look at UCLA. I think they have a lot of talent. UCLA will have to shoot it well to get there. I don't know whether I'd go any farther than that. I suspect that you've got to pick a Big East team.
Yeah.
They play such a tough conference. But I think it'd be fun. I'm going to be there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a presentation to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the dinner, the salute dinner, for being the only 3-time MVP of the tournament. So it'll be fun for me to go do that, and it'll be exciting. And we'll watch you Thursday night and wish we were up there, and good luck to BYU.
It's going to be a great one. Great bracket up there in Boise. Arnie Ferrin, come back and see us again.
Thank
This
you.
man knows basketball. Got a Sports Beat Sunday hat. Wear that with pride, will you?
Of course.
All right. We'll get you another one, too, for your grandson.
Thank you.
All right. We'll come back. But first, here's a little trivia. See if you can get this one. We'll be back.